Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. You guys got a lot of great questions once again in the Ask WrestleJuice community thread that I posted, so let's get right to them. It's been another big week in wrestling, and of course, probably the biggest news event of the week coming off of Revolution has been the debut in AEW of Brother Nero himself, Jeff Hardy. So let's get into some of those questions. Stephen Dunnigan asks, where does Jeff Hardy's debut rank in AEW? He says he puts it in the top 2. I would probably put it pretty high up there. I think it's probably just behind Adam Cole at All Out because nobody really expected him to be there. Everybody sort of expected Bryan Danielson to show up, but then Adam Cole showed up. It was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so, or was it vice versa? I forget. In any event, Cole, Danielson capping off All Out was probably the number 1A debuts in AEW. And then I would follow that up with Jeff Hardy. I love the way they did Jeff Hardy because you had the loaded theme song. You had that classic theme song for the Hardy Boys, which I think the majority of people didn't quite understand that, oh my God, that was going to happen. Plus, all the chatter around his debut was he wasn't going to be able to debut until like next week because I think Matt had put it out there that his no compete didn't end until the day after Dynamite. So they were trying to throw people off the scent, which was really cool. I don't think necessarily people were expecting it to happen then. I know there was some chatter about him being at the venue, but who maybe he was just visiting there. Who knows? But yeah, I'd put it way up there. That was the way to do it, man. You have him do a run-in, a save type situation. He does the really quick, goofy dance before he makes the save, which they'll probably reference on like Being the Elite or on the next episode of either Rampage or Dynamite or whatever. Rampage is tonight, so who knows? Maybe they'll do it then. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'd put it way up there. Let's see who else has a question about the Hardys here. We've got Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones, evidently asking Steve, do you want the Hardys to do the delete Brother Nero stuff or just like the Broken Universe stuff? Or just be Team Extreme or maybe something else? And what about matches? Surely revisiting the Young Bucks feud is somewhere on the books and the immediate feud with the Andrade family office, I guess. But what else? What's next? I think clearly they're going to do something with Sting and Darby Allin. That should be a lot of fun. You can go back to the Sting Jeff Hardy history. Look, man, I think that chances are it would not shock me if this was the last stop for the Hardys. Matt Hardy especially seems to really enjoy being there. They're clearly going to give a big spotlight to Jeff Hardy. They seem to give people a lot of freedom there. And especially if you're a big name coming over, they're going to want to spotlight the Hardys. So all of it, man, why not? Right? I mean, you've got the Young Bucks there. They've got history. You've got FTR there. You can revisit some of that. You've got all sorts of dream matches that you haven't revisited. You got like House of Black over there. You've got, I don't know if the Hardys had matches against XLAX. They probably did. I would imagine probably in TNA. Look, man, the strength of AEW is obviously in their tag division. Plenty of opportunities there. And of course, both Jeff and Matt are both highly acclaimed singles wrestlers. So you can revisit Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. That's a big deal. There's a lot. There is a lot. I feel like they'll probably be there long enough to cover the gamut, to do as much stuff as they can as Team Extreme. Maybe if WWE doesn't want Lita to continue her stuff, maybe they can bring in Lita to be a bit of the Team Extreme stuff. I don't know what the relationship between Matt and Lita. You'd think it'd be good after all these years. It's been 20 years since all that stuff went down. You'd think they'd be friends still. I think the fans would pop huge if Amy Dumas would be her name. If she was there, Dumas, I forget how you pronounce it. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff they can do. And I feel like the Hardys are probably going to be really happy there because they'll be able to explore all that stuff. Why wouldn't you be? Anyways, let's move on from that. Let's move on to Brandon Will Win asks, under what circumstances, if any, could you foresee Triple H's return to the wrestling world? It's unlikely he'll ever wrestle again, but could he still have a backstage role, even on-screen role somewhere? Or is he simply destined for the Hall of Fame, never be heard of again? Seemingly, whatever heart condition he had was pretty serious, and it would probably preclude him from being involved too much in the family business. That being said, he's come back from injury before. This is a bit deeper than an injury. This is like, this seemed pretty serious. I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's the kind of thing you could speculate all day long, but we do not have the slightest idea as to what his actual medical condition is. That's his own private business. All I can say is that I'd love to see him on my TV again. Man, it'd be really like, I mean, would anybody really want to see him in 2.0? I'm sure if he came back, like, it'd be a big deal and everything, but he's got to look around and be like, this is not the NXT that I envisioned. And I think we'd all know that. We all know what they did to Triple H's vision. They basically burned it to the ground. So I don't know. It's a real shame how that all ended, how that all went down. It still seems kind of surreal that it just sort of ended, and then he had that cardiac event is what they called it. I don't know. I would not be shocked to see him at the Hall of Fame ceremony this year, sort of in attendance. But as to what his role is going to be in the company, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Hopefully he finds something that he really loves, though, man. Let's see here. The Goose Man has a great question. How do you replace the distracted ref trope in wrestling? Not entirely, but make it less tiresome. This is a great question because I'm so tired of the distracted ref. I think WWE especially goes with it way too much, but also AEW kind of does the distracted ref thing quite a bit too. It's kind of their way of getting around the DQ loss, because AEW does not do a lot of DQ losses, but between MJF's use of the Diamond Ring and Britt Baker's use of Rebel and Jamie Hayter, there's way too many distracted refs in all of wrestling. House of Torture uses a lot in New Japan, but it seems to be sort of focused on them. Yeah, so I don't know, man. How would I replace it? When the refs get distracted, they're just completely and totally tunnel vision on the distraction. You got to make it a little bit more realistic. You got to make it so that the ref is trying their damnedest to keep their eye on the prize, the match, and not all this distraction. You got to make them a little savvier in kayfabe, in the story. They got to be a little savvier. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how you do it. You just stop doing it. You just say, look, we can go to this trope once a month, and it can't be like the same, like Britt's allowed to use the distracted ref once a quarter or something. Like, you can't keep going back to the same trope. Britt for a while was winning cleanly, and now it's like always the same thing. That's probably going to stop in San Antonio. She's totally losing that title there, by the way. Let's see here. Lewins88 says, how long do you think Mox and Danielson will last as a team? Would love for them to have a long run as a team and win the titles. I think it'd be great if they did the two-man power trip with those two. I think it would be I'd be so much fun. Maybe like sometime in the fall, you get Danielson winning the TNT title, maybe off like Scorpio Sky or something like that. And then you have Mox winning the AEW title. Maybe he takes it off of Hangman for a spell. I don't know. Maybe not. But and then they win the tag titles. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but then you're like lumping a bunch of stories into one. And I don't know if they're going to want to do that. There's a lot of tag teams that need to get those titles. Santana Ortiz, they got to be the next ones to get those titles, I would think. So, how long are they going to be a team? I don't know. I'd give them till All Out. They might have like a blow off at All Out. Maybe. Or maybe they'd split it all out. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, no, I think they should have a nice long run. I mean, it's an awesome team. It's an awesome faction, putting Regal in there. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. Deadpool Nerd says, NXT of recent has had much more continuity and synergy with the main roster, really making it feel like a third brand. Why is this only recent with 2.0, but only seen once or twice with Black and Gold? Your question's as good as any. I don't know. No idea. No clue. I think it's because this. I mean, I'll just speculate. Triple H was on an island. He was tasked with finding the future of the WWE, and he would send people up and Vince wouldn't know what to do with them. I think it's that simple. And so because of that, because like, I think at first Vince was like, oh, okay, cool. You're sending me guys like Rollins. You're sending me guys like Big E. You're sending me Drew McIntyres. But for every Drew McIntyre, you'd send me a Finn Balor and Aleister Black and Andrade, guys that I don't know what to do with. And then there was that time he sent his 4 best guys, Aleister Black, Ricochet, Gargano, and Ciampa. And Vince was like, what is this? These are not big, beefy men that I could picture in the main event of WrestleMania. So because I think it just became a thing of its own, Vince left it alone. I think part of the new direction is Vince wants to make sure that whatever's happening in 2.0 fits on the main roster, and he knows ahead of time. And to keep better tabs on that, you link the two closer. I think that's why. I just think that the way they were doing it before didn't work, and part of the way to make it work is to bridge them. So I think that's probably why. But I would have loved to have seen that in the past. I think it would have been awesome. Charlie Black, I don't think it's possible, but if Wardlow wins a TNT championship, do you see Wardlow and MJF maybe feuding over the TNT title? No, I don't think that's going to, I think Wardlow's going to lose because of MJF next week. That's my prediction on that one. I think Scorpio Sky is going to hold that title for, I don't know, a little while anyways. So yeah, I don't see that happening. I see that once MJF gets the world title, maybe this late summer, or maybe as soon as Double or Nothing. That's a possibility, but I feel like it's going to be all out. Maybe that MJF wins that. Then they'll come back around to like Wardlow versus MJF. Yeah, Wardlow might be the guy that takes that title off MJF. I don't know. I might have to do another one of those, like, who are the next 4 champions of AEW videos? Because in the last one I did, it was Kevin Owens. Scott Devine asks, who do you think should be the first 3 champions of Ring of Honor if Tony Khan launches it as a second brand? So Gresham obviously is going to be starting off. They'll finally do the Gresham Bandito match, and Gresham will win that. And then after that, first 3 champions there, I suspect it'll probably be something like Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty. Oh, Wheeler Yuta. That's who. It's going to be Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and Wheeler Yuta. That's what it's going to be. Let's see here. White Brownie, now that you got your hands on 2K22, what are some things you hope for when it comes to the AEW video game? Just good gameplay and good character customization. That's what I really want. Character customization. Let's see here. Yeah, but I mean, good gameplay. That's like number 1, man. Tyler asked, does WWE need, figuratively speaking, does WWE need Gable Steveson to work? What happens if he busts? No, they're deep enough. They have enough talent so that if he busts, it's not going to be a big deal, but they're going to do everything they can. They're literally building him a facility to train to be pro wrestler. It all depends on, will his character translate? Will his character immediately have an impact? Will he look confused? Will he look nervous when he gets on the mic? Will people believe him? He'll have the in-ring stuff. He'll have that. He's very gifted, obviously, athletically. That's an understatement. He's got the size. It all depends on if his character is going to translate. That's really what it matters. If it's like a Ronda Rousey thing where like the crowd pops for her, but they're not. I feel like people are not really that invested in Ronda because like she has a hard time connecting with the crowd, then it's going to be a problem for him. But I feel like he's going to do better than Ronda. So I think he'll be fine. Whether or not he's going to be the guy to take it off Roman, I don't know. Deep Voice Dude says, what's more likely to happen? WWE returns to TV 14 programming or AEW goes to TV PG programming? More likely would be WWE returning to TV 14 because there's been some rumors about that being a possibility, at least with NXT 2.0. So I don't know how possible it is, but I think that would be more likely to happen because I don't think investors and advertisers would mind that much if they said the word shit here and there. They already kind of do that and maybe featured some blood, which I think would probably get them to TV 14. John Adams, we'll end on this one. John Adams, what's going to happen to NXT UK? I don't know. Hopefully it'll live long and prosper. And hopefully if something happens to NXT UK, somebody will just pick up all those wrestlers and then they'll just like BT Sport will just buy NXT UK and it'll be BTW, BT Wrestling. I don't even know what the BT and BT Sports stands for. British something? British Top Sports? I don't know what it stands for. Anyways, check out one of these other videos over here. I did a WWE 2K22 review. And then, of course, you can check out my AEW Revolution review as well. So we'll see you guys over at those videos. One of them. Choose one of them. Just pick one. Anyone. You already seen it? Well, then watch it again. Or you can check out one of the other videos over here. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you later.